Welcome, everyone. My name is Storm Knight, also known as Nelthane. This is the submission and also the attempt at Sanctum 2 campaign percent at the first world of the game. Facility. I always get mixed up if it's lab or facility. Now, there's a couple of things to talk about before I even get going. Number one, we skip introduction because it's just tutorial. We always start right at park. Load up these cool loading screen comics. So, for this world, we're only going to be using one character, Sky. Her main ability is that she can double jump and that she does more damage each time she hits a single enemy. That's going to be important for what we got going on, just because she's got more mobility. She is going to do more damage regardless. She's just great all-around character. For this run, we're also going to be using only 2 guns and 4 towers. Plasma rifle, big ball of lightning, and shooting precision shots. Smatterband, lots of little explosions, either in a small area or directly on an enemy. We're going to be using lightning towers. They do damage if you get close. Violators do damage if you're long range. And I don't think we're using the other 2 for World 1. Perks. These are things that just occur. With Corpse Explosion, deals damage to enemies based on the enemy health. Armor Shredder, you ignore enemy armor when you shoot them. And Overcharge. This is a really important one for swarms. It does AoE damage around you that basically one-shots most swarm enemies. With that explanation out of the way, we can just get right into the run, starting in 3, 2, 1. We're just going to start immediately. We're not going to put down any towers because we need to go and start killing. We have a bunch of different enemy types that we're going to go through. First one is these walkers. They actually can swing at you. They can deal damage. The weak point is right in the middle of their face. Big old red thing. You see a big old red thing, shoot it. Gonna go ahead and block that tower off. That gap in the tower is off. Now, this is the plasma rifle secondary fire, which we're going to use to quickly dispatch everything around here. Those are screamers. That thing I just shot, and that thing right there. They deal range attacks. Their weak point is on their butt. These walker putts, they just get obliterated real quick. But they're just baby walkers. Right now, we've got some walkers coming in, and we've got runners. These little dudes right here. Those little dudes and snorkers that we'll see later are the reason we get Overcharge as a perk. We just want them gone as quickly as possible, and Overcharge does that as long as we're close to them. So tower placement and positioning is going to be based around making sure we are close enough to our targets. Okay. We've got 2 new types now. Well, not one new type. Walker Warrior. These are basically upgraded walkers. They have a slam attack, and they have twice as much health. So I've also noted, as far as health is concerned, that we're playing on campaign percent as opposed to the standard any percent, which is just on easy mode. Easy mode reduces enemy health by half. So I don't play on that because I think it's boring. I prefer to get a bit more challenge out of my enemies. So that's why I play it on campaign percent. Yeah, you're definitely seeing the power of the Smatterband against those guys. If you get you get the attack right on the weak point, you can do boatloads of damage. So now these guys are soakers. They have a huge health pool, but their weakness is that the more individual shots that hit them, the more damage they end up taking. So a combination of the Smatterband and the secondary effect of the plasma rifle secondary shot, which has these little lightning tendrils. These each do individual damage, which will in turn stack up the soaker's damage vulnerability. Just gotta wait for one more, but we're killing him too quickly. Again, just stacking up the shots. The towers I put down, those are the Violators. They do tons of damage in a single shot, but they have a really long cooldown. We actually probably don't need the Violators there. They're just kind of helpful for this first level. But we want to create this tight little kill box, so that way all the enemies are just going to funnel right there. They're just going to die immediately. Some, like the Walker Warriors, they take a little bit more, and Just the whole point of what we're going to try to go for on this run is pillbox. And basically the kill box, for anybody who, in military terms, we herd enemies into one spot, so they die. We shift to the next split each time we complete a level, right as soon as we lose control. So heading on to... That was 1-2. This is 1-3. I think this is the biolab. The names get confusing. Okay. Same setup. Not changing anything. While I could hit OK right now, I don't. I want to make sure I get close, because those walker pups are really vulnerable to my overcharge. So I want to make sure that I get in on top of them immediately before the wave starts. Just making sure they're not spread out, so that way I don't have to run around and try to kill them. So, we're just blasting through. Probably a bunch of things I'm forgetting to explain, but we're dealing with it. Once again, there isn't a point to set up towers right now, or bases. We just need the waves to start coming in as quickly as possible so we can kill them as quickly as possible. Okay. This is where the double jump really comes in handy. We can head right through the center there as opposed to going outside of the level. Or not the level, the main area. There. Gets us there a lot quicker. So, on the minimap, up in the top left, you're going to notice that there's a bunch of little green dots. Those are all bobs. They like being bobbed. They're explorer conscripts in the game. They'll deal a little bit of extra damage to enemies, but they can also die and be vulnerable to attack. So, in most cases, we want them alive for as long as possible. But, and especially in this level, they're going to be really helpful if we can't get to an enemy. But anyway, now what we're going for is now we have a pretty common thing happening in this game is that we have two separate spawns, and there's only one me. The solution to this is pretty simple. We set up a bunch of Violator towers on that side, and now they're just going to obliterate anything that comes in. We head over to this side because the Soakers are there, and those are going to take the most effort to kill. So we want to try to basically direct enemies to the most convenient spots where we can inflict the most damage upon. You may think, why are you all hurting them just in the middle right there? Those gray crossed out areas, you cannot put any tower bases there. So, you have to build on the blue squares, which is basically just what the game gives you. So now in this case, you'll see that some of the enemies are just going to get obliterated as soon as they get into the area right over there. On this level in particular, it starts you off with a bunch of those Walker Explorer conscripts, and it also has a couple of Violator towers just right at the end. So anything that gets out is going to get sniped. And did the Bob survive? Nope. Oh well. We lose more good Bobs that way. We got the other side. We were fine. Okay, we're on the final wave. So, main way you make this game fast, other than just killing stuff, is identify where the last enemy in a particular wave is going to spawn, and then kill them as quickly as possible. That's the main way you speed this game. And obviously, killing things faster. See, that should be the last... No, we got a couple more. I think there's one more Soaker that's going to spawn on the left side, but we want to take these guys. Yep, so there's a guy over there. Just waiting. So things are actually going to start kind of getting intense on the last level of this world, 1-4. It's going to be our first main kill box setup, and it's also going to be where we start encountering a bunch of different spawns and a bunch of different enemy types. So, heading straight in for it. The Gate. I remember what this one's called. Or I just read it immediately. You can choose to believe what you want.
Alright, let's do this.
Okay. So, like in the first couple levels, we're not going to bother setting down any towers. We could if we wanted to, but there isn't really a need. We don't have any need for the bases or the kill box right now. So we're just gonna start blasting. Spawns. Always go for the weak spots if possible. However, Skye is uniquely equipped in that she can still deal extra damage if she's not hitting a weak spot. There's only one weak spot oriented character in the game, and that's Simo. But we're not going to be using him on this particular run. So now we have 2 spawns going, so now we need to set up some towers. This setup that I'm doing right now, the point of this is to draw enemies from both the spawns. Oh, that's me getting hit in the face with the base. Hey, never mind. But, we want to draw both of those enemies into a single spawn and set it up so that they're just going to get obliterated as soon as they come in. Whether or not that's by towers or by me doing stuff, doesn't really matter. But we definitely want to stay over here for the moment, because this is the stronger area. It's just going to be walker pups over on the right. And the Explorer conscripts can take care of that. Or, well, most of them took care of that. We lost more bobs. It's all good. So since the walker pups are kind of advancing a little bit further, I'm just going to head over here. Tamp down their dreams of glory at reaching the core. And now, we just clean up this wave. The screamer right there.
Seems to be all of them.
Now we've got a single spawn coming in. We can just see there's walker warriors and walkers. Again, we don't need any towers right here. We're just gonna go for it. So, actually, a note. It doesn't come up often. The reason that he just sort of paused right there looking stupid was that there are explosive barrels hidden around the levels, or some levels. And if you hit one with enemies near it, they get stunned in place for a little bit. So, it's not really something we can plan for. It just, they happen. They just happen around. Not really worth making a plan for it. But we're just gonna finish this guy off. That's blasting. Get these last 2.
Nice.
Okay, so now spawns are coming in every which way. So now we can solidify our towers.
Not enough resources.
And we can start it up. So over there, over on the right. Actually, no, this is the left. Oh, that's the next wave. Never mind. So now, as opposed to going out to meet the enemies, we're waiting here for them. As you can see, we up in the top left, or top right, they've got a bunch of little dudes. A bunch of the runners are just running through. I could go out and try to meet them, but if I do that, there's a high chance that one of them is going to get past me and my overcharge won't hit them. So it's just going to be more efficient for me to just sit here and blast anything that comes this way. See, you got all of them coming along. So I don't want to necessarily go out and meet them just because it's going to miss the overcharge. However, right now, we can start doing a little sniping. These gross little booger things, those are snorkers. Snorkers will explode as soon as they make contact with you. You can avoid that, but it's usually better to just take them out from a distance. So what I was thinking about for last wave was these guys popping up. These are the armored heavies. They are basically what they say. They take a lot of damage to kill, and the annoying thing about them is that their weak point is on the butt. So they always move forward, so you can't really get behind them. Again, I could get behind them, but if I do that, then this kill box is completely unmaintained. Considering the fact that I also have Pulse Explosion and Overcharge, I want all my enemies coming straight to me. I've got all these towers right here too, so the kill box is maintained securely. At the moment, we are just waiting for all these enemies to come in. Violators are up on the top. They're just poking at things as they come in. So we're going to start blasting enemies that are hanging out over there. You can basically get free pot shots off on. Yep, as soon as he comes in, lightning, lightning, dead. Okay, we'll throw down one more Violator because I wanna. And it really, at this point, doesn't matter what the level is going to throw at us. We have our full tower set up. So now we just have to kind of trust the process and get pot shots off whenever we can. On these soakers, we know that they have a lot of health, and we know we want to get damage on them before they hit our kill box. So that is why we are blasting them as far away as we can. A note, up on the minimap, you can kind of tell what enemy is going to come in based on its dot. Some of them will have little white rings, some of them will be small, some of them will be big. It doesn't necessarily indicate the level of threat, it just kind of gives you an indication of what's coming. At the moment, it's just been runners, it's been walkers, and for some reason, they put soakers up as small little dots. That's probably because, funny enough, a lot of the enemies in this game don't actually hurt you.
All clear for now.
Their whole point is to just be annoying and soak damage. So, walkers of all kinds will hurt you. They will deal damage to you. So, and these walker warriors have an annoying little ground slam, which you've probably seen me avoid a couple times, just by jumping up in the air. But these armored heavies are not going to hurt me. The soakers won't do anything to deal damage to me. The runners won't. Lots of enemies just don't. The point, though, is you gotta avoid the ones that will, and you gotta still make sure you kill everything before they hit the core, which I probably just pointed out, is the blue and white circle thingy on the minimap. So the whole point is to protect the cores. You don't want any of the enemies getting. Core, however, does have like 4,000 health, and most of these enemies don't do much more than like 50 damage per, so it can take some punishment. And at any time I end up making a pun, I am fully intending my puns. Always intend your puns, you cowards. So, I'm just cleaning up. This should be wave 7. Okay, so, right over there, we got a boss incoming. This boss in particular is a Walker Patriarch.
This is gonna get him.
Main thing about him is he likes to destroy tower bases. His whole idea is to just wreck your maze. So we're going to give him a maze to wreck. We don't want him actually getting to our good kill box because he's obviously going to ruin it. That's going to make it harder to contain and kill everything. So, main strategy for any time a Walker Patriarch appears is we just give it some bases to attack, because it will attack the closest enemy base it can. And there's the big boy. So now that he has bases to attack, okay, now he's just gonna do his own thing. Thank you, Walker Patriarch, for obeying the rules that you should have had set before anything happened. Well, this is fine. Nothing too injurious happened. It's not like we're not gonna lose a whole heck of a lot of time because, again, the last enemy needs to set up. And there we go. How far off was I? Well, this was kind of an explanation and test anyway. But that is World 1 on Sanctum 2. I definitely need some more practice. But we'll move on to other videos in the future.